The way I see it, giving your first fruits is an act of worship. It's a step in faith, and it's trusting in God.
Yes.
And to me, that's the bottom line. As we became Christ followers in '92, I remember talking to our pastor at that point, and I said, "Wow, this would be tough for me to try to give 10%." I said, "That's just a lot." You certainly felt that way.
Yes, we did.
And our pastor said, "Well, you give what you can give." I think, assuming that we were new Christians, and then you whatever increase that you get, you give 10% of that. And we did that for a number of years. And that came to a point for me where I wanted a more personal relationship with the Lord. I wanted more intimacy. I wanted that what Matthew 6:33 says, "First seek my kingdom, my righteousness, and he'll take care of everything else." And I wanted to have that closeness. So I was anxious to seek God. So I wanted to do those things that he would want me to do and that he would command me to do.
When he approached me about tithing, I really did never blink at it. I mean, it was like, well, okay, that's what we're supposed to do. And we have a really good relationship, and he was really, really growing really strong in the Lord about that time. I could just see the process coming through. I don't know that I was as strong as he was, but I relied that he was. I could just see it moving. I could see it growing, and I could see how desperately he wanted to do that, because it was important. It was important for his relationship with God. It was important for our relationship. It was important for how we set an example for our kids. I mean, it just was a domino effect. It's like there was just nothing but good that could come out of it.
It just is to the point where we just picked up whatever our check was, whatever the gross was on our check that we made, we just took 10% of that and wrote the check.
Being obedient with your finances is very scary, especially when you start out. 10% can seem like a small number in a lot of things, but when somebody asks you to give 10% of your paycheck before you even pay your mortgage, golly, that becomes a lot of money. I was like, oh, well, I mean, I really did agree with what he was saying, but yes, I mean, your heart skips a beat. You think, okay, and then I kind of got to the point where, if we're going to spiritually mature, if we're going to say that we're obedient to what we've been professing, that we're Christ followers, and we're going to do this, and we're going to have to push the envelope a little bit. We're going to have to go out on a limb. We're going to have to trust.
I think we want people to know that we've been there. We've been on the other side. And it's hard to see across the canyon, so to speak, how it is on the other side when you are doing the tithing. I think a lot of people who grew up tithing may not be able to understand that. But it's a real struggle. And until you bridge that gap and you're on the other side, and you look back and going, well, I don't know what I was so scared about. But it's taking an initial step of faith and trusting God. That's where it's going to come down to.
It is harder on this side of doing it than doing it. Once you get over that hump, I just kind of feel like a relief. We've done what we're supposed to do, and now we can move on.
What is amazing for us is that we thought, boy, giving the 10%, man, if we can do that, we'll be there. And I'm amazed that now we give to missions, we give to some of the community charities. Mm-hmm. We're actually giving above what our tithe is. We're finding money to do that, and
we are. It's there, and we're giving it, and we're still fine. And it's great to see what's happening with all that.
I certainly see the benefits from tithing. That just having a trust in God, that He is sovereign and that He's looking after us and our well-being. We depend a lot more on that, and that's some of the blessings that have come from that. I don't know how to stress that enough. How important it is to know that God's in control. He owns everything, and our giving back 10% is such a small way of giving our act of worship. I would say that God wants us to be generous people. Certainly that Generosity starts with a tithe, but it also goes into all different areas of our life and that we live in with our neighbors, with our small group, with our youth group.
I think tithing helped us, God helped open our eyes to opportunities we might not have otherwise seen had we not started here. Start here with the tithing. Look what I'm going to show you. We didn't do the tithe expecting anything like that. We didn't know what was out there, but he certainly worked in us to open our eyes and start to go a lot of different directions that we didn't know before.
You know, one of the blessings that seems to come from this is when you think about it, is we have become more generous. If I were to talk to anybody who was struggling with tithing, I would ask them to just take the test, give your first fruits, take a step in faith, and trust in God that He will provide for you. I think you'll be surprised what happens.